24 Iranian missiles are airborne, and the USS Abraham Lincoln has no knowledge of 8 of them. The remaining 16 are painted on every radar display across the strike group. To the south, a swarm of fast attack craft. To the north, a coastal battery positioned along the Makran shoreline. Both threats are visible. Both are being engaged. Both are moments away from being neutralized. But somewhere behind a mountain range, running along the Omani coastline, 8 more missiles are threading a valley at 550 knots, invisible to every single radar system in the entire formation. They have been flying that route for 3 minutes and 42 seconds. They will clear the ridgeline in exactly 4 minutes and 11 seconds. The moment they do, every radar in the strike group will acquire them at the same instant. And 4 minutes and 11 seconds is almost nothing when you are trying to stop 8 sea-skimming cruise missiles that have already completed 2/3 of their journey before anyone in the formation knew they existed. To understand how Iran constructed this attack, you need to understand what changed in the hours before it happened. Senior commanders of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps are dead. Nuclear facilities have been reduced to rubble, and somewhere inside a hardened command bunker, the most senior surviving officer in the Iranian Navy is standing over a map of the Arabian Sea, making what will be the last consequential military decision the Islamic Republic makes in this war. He has one window to inflict damage on the United States Navy before whatever follows. He has fast attack boats. He has a coastal battery along the Makran shore. He has one Fateh-class submarine already holding position inside the Gulf of Oman. He has 24 missiles in total, and he has 3 years of geographic study that his targeting staff has been conducting on a mountain range along the Omani coast, one that runs parallel to the Abraham Lincoln's operating area and carves out a radar shadow roughly 180 kilometers long and 40 kilometers deep. Anything flying inside that shadow is completely undetectable to surface-based radar. The peaks rise to approximately 2,800 meters and block line of sight entirely. Thread missiles through that valley and hold them there until the last possible moment, and you can present a carrier strike group with a threat it cannot detect until it has 4 minutes left to react. That is the architecture of this attack. 8 missiles from fast boats operating in the southern Arabian Sea. Loud, obvious, built to be seen, designed to drag Aegis targeting resources toward the southern threat axis. 8 missiles from the coastal battery along the Makran shore to the north. A second threat axis, pulling defensive attention in the opposite direction. And 8 missiles from the submarine, fired 2 minutes before everything else, already inside the radar shadow, already flying the valley route, already most of the way to the Abraham Lincoln, before the other 16 missiles have even left their launch platforms. The 16 visible missiles are not the attack, they are the distraction. The 8 that nobody can see are the weapon. At 9:14, the fast boats fire from the south. 8 anti-ship missiles drop to sea-skimming altitude and accelerate toward the Abraham Lincoln at roughly 0.8 Mach. The SPY-1D radar aboard the USS Delbert D. Black acquires them immediately. 8 contacts bearing 182, range 47 nautical miles, time to impact 11 minutes. The Aegis fire control system begins constructing intercept solutions before the tactical action officer has finished reading the contact report aloud. 4 minutes after that, the Makran battery fires from the north. 8 more missiles on a different bearing, different range, timed to arrive at approximately the same moment as the southern volley and force the strike group to divide its interceptor inventory across 2 simultaneous threat axes. The Combat Information Center aboard the Abraham Lincoln now has 16 inbound contacts on the tactical display, 2 threat axes, and a defensive problem consuming the full attention of every radar operator, every fire control officer, and every weapons station in the formation, which is precisely the moment the E-2D Hawkeye saves the carrier. The E-2D Hawkeye is the airborne eyes of the Abraham Lincoln, a twin-turboprop early warning aircraft orbiting at 25,000 feet above the operating area, with a rotating radar dome mounted above its fuselage, capable of scanning 350 miles in every direction and looking down at the surface from an angle that no ship-based or shore-based radar can replicate. Surface radars are constrained by the horizon. They cannot see beneath the radar shadow created by terrain because they sit at sea level and mountains physically block their line of sight. The E-2D has no such constraint. At 25,000 feet, it looks over mountain ranges. It sees into valleys. It detects things that every surface radar in the formation is geometrically incapable of finding. At 9:17 and 43 seconds, exactly 3 minutes and 42 seconds after the Fateh-class submarine launched its 8 missiles into the radar shadow of the Omani mountain range, the E-2D's radar returns 8 new contacts, clearing the northern ridgeline at low altitude. Bearing 227, range 38 nautical miles, speed 550 knots, time to impact 4 minutes and 11 seconds. The mission commander aboard the E-2D transmits the contact report to the Abraham Lincoln's Combat Information Center in the same breath. 8 new contacts. Northern bearing, inside minimum radar coverage, time to impact 4 minutes 11 seconds. The Combat Information Center has been managing 16 threats. It now has 24. And the 8 newest contacts are the closest, the most dangerous, and the ones with the least time remaining on the clock. The flag officer present in the Combat Information Center has been there since the first missile contacts appeared on the display 12 minutes ago. He processes the report in roughly 2 seconds and issues 3 directives simultaneously. SM-2S on the new contacts, maximum rate of fire. EA-18G, Growler on the Makran battery immediately. All ahead flank evasive maneuvering. The carrier begins its turn. The Growler pilot has been holding altitude, waiting for exactly this call. The Aegis system begins redistributing interceptors across updated threat priorities. What matters here is that the formation has retained enough defensive capacity to respond. The 16 visible missiles have been consuming SM-2 interceptors since 9:14. In the first 3 minutes of engagement, 12 SM-2s were fired against both the southern and northern salvos, destroying 6 of the 16 visible missiles. 10 visible missiles remain inbound. 8 invisible ones just became visible. The strike group must defeat 18 missiles in the next 4 minutes, using whatever interceptors remain in the vertical launch cells of its ships, and whatever the Growler can accomplish against the Makran battery in the next 60 seconds. The EA-18G Growler rolls onto the Makran battery at 9:18. Its jamming systems identify the fire control frequency the battery is using to transmit targeting updates to its 8 missiles in under 30 seconds. The same technique that worked before. The same vulnerability that Iran has not corrected, because correcting it would require replacing the guidance systems on every missile in the inventory, and there has not been time to do that. The Growler saturates the frequency. All 8 northern missiles lose their targeting updates simultaneously. Without continuous position data on a moving carrier, they are flying toward where the Abraham Lincoln was, not where it is now. The carrier's evasive turn has already displaced it roughly 600 meters from its previous position. The northern salvo is now tracking toward empty ocean. Nothing will correct them before they exhaust their fuel and impact the water. 8 threats eliminated without a single interceptor expended. The southern salvo is a different problem and demands a different solution. The 8 missiles fired from the fast boats carry no shore-based guidance link. They are autonomous from the moment of launch, relying on their own onboard radar seekers during the terminal phase. Jamming cannot sever a connection that does not exist. They have to be destroyed the conventional way. The Aegis system has been working through them methodically since 9:14, and by 9:19, 5 of the original 8 have been destroyed by SM-2 interceptors. 3 remain, now inside 20 nautical miles and entering terminal attack phase, their onboard seekers active and scanning for the carrier's hull. 2 more SM-2s launch and find their marks. 2 more missiles gone. The third executes a pre-programmed terminal evasive maneuver at 18 nautical miles that breaks the intercept solution, and the SM-2 detonates in empty air, roughly 300 meters behind the missile at 12 nautical miles. The Abraham Lincoln's own close-in weapon system picks up the surviving contact. 4,500 rounds per minute, tracking the sea-skimming missile as it closes the distance. The missile flies into the stream of fire at 9 nautical miles and comes apart. Debris scatters across the water. Nothing reaches the hull. That leaves 8 missiles that cleared the Omani ridgeline with 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. The E-2D's detection gave the Aegis fire control system 151 seconds of warning on those contacts. 151 seconds more than the Iranian targeting officer had designed for. In those 151 seconds, the Aegis computers built intercept solutions on all 8 contacts, assigned SM-2s from the vertical launch cells of 3 different ships simultaneously, and began firing in a sequence calculated to defeat the entire salvo at minimum interceptor cost. The first SM-2 reaches its assigned contact at 9:20 and detonates close enough to destroy the missile's guidance section entirely. The second and third launches kill their targets 12 seconds later. The fourth SM-2 misses when the missile executes a terminal evasive maneuver. The fifth launch corrects and detonates directly against the airframe at 7 nautical miles. The sixth, seventh, and eighth contacts are destroyed in rapid succession over the following 40 seconds. The last one close enough that the fireball is clearly visible from the Abraham Lincoln's flight deck. At 9:22 and 17 seconds, the final contact disappears from the tactical display. 8 minutes and 17 seconds from first missile contact to last destroyed track. 24 missiles from 3 separate directions. 0 hits, 0 damage, 0 casualties. The Abraham Lincoln has not altered its flight operations schedule. Aircraft that were on final approach when the engagement began are still on final approach. The crew members who were eating breakfast when the first contacts appeared are finishing their meals. But the engagement is not over. The Fateh-class submarine that launched 8 missiles from inside the radar shadow of the Omani mountain range is still out there, and it made the same mistake every submarine makes when it fires. It revealed its position, the launch transients from 8 simultaneous tube ejections propagated through the water column the instant those missiles left the boat. The towed array sonar aboard the Delbert D. Black captured every one of them. The tracking solution has been building since 9:15. By 9:22, it is accurate to within 60 meters. At 9:24, the Delbert D. Black fires 2 Mark 54 torpedoes on a converging intercept course with the submarine's projected position. The submarine's sonar operator detects the launch. The boat goes to emergency full power immediately, turning hard and deploying decoys. The first Mark 54 chases a decoy. The second does not. At 9:27, it detonates against the pressure hull in the forward engineering compartment. The explosion ruptures the hull and flooding begins at once. The commanding officer activates the emergency blow system. The submarine rises toward the surface, damaged and listing badly, breaking through at 9:31 with 11 crew members visible on the bridge and outer hull within moments of surfacing. The Delbert D. Black is already on an intercept course, its 5-inch gun trained on the contact. It comes alongside at 9:38. The submarine's crew does not move toward any weapon system. There is nothing left to fight with. Iran fired 24 missiles at the USS Abraham Lincoln from 3 directions simultaneously. It was the most sophisticated coordinated naval attack the Revolutionary Guard Corps had ever attempted. A fast boat salvo from the south to divide defensive attention. A shore battery salvo from the north to divide it further. And 8 missiles hidden inside a mountain radar shadow for nearly 4 minutes, invisible to every surface radar in the formation, designed to arrive at the exact moment the strike group was most stretched and least able to respond. It was a professionally designed attack built around a genuine geographic advantage that Iranian targeting officers had studied for 3 years. And it failed completely, because one aircraft, flying at 25,000 feet, looked over the mountains, saw what was moving through the valley behind them, and gave the strike group 4 minutes and 11 seconds that the Iranian Navy had never intended it to have. 4 minutes and 11 seconds was enough. It was more than enough, and the submarine that carried the most dangerous element of this attack from the Gulf of Oman is now sitting on the surface of the Arabian Sea in the morning light, with its crew standing on the hull waiting for a rescue that is going to take a very long time to arrive.